Here's part 2 of your study guide. For 8, we are asked to solve for the indicated variable, and for 9, we're going to use the formula to answer that question. Our formula for circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times the radius. So since we have to solve for r, we're going to want to get the r by itself. That means we're going to divide both sides by 2 and pi. Whatever we do to one side of the equal sign, we do to the other side. And that will cancel out 2 and pi and get the r by itself. So our answer is circumference divided by 2 times pi equals r. For number 9, we're going to use our new equation to answer this question. For a circle with a circumference of 50.24 inches and using 3.14 for pi, what is the radius in inches? So all we have to do is rewrite the equation and substitute in to solve. So we're looking for the radius. We know the circumference is 50.24, so I sub that in place of the c. And then I'm going to divide that by 2, and we're going to use 3.14 for pi. So I'm just putting these values in into the equation. Now solve. 50.24 divided by 2 times 3.14. So it's important that I multiply that denominator to make that 6.28. And then when I divide 50.24 divided by 6.28, I get our final answer, r is 8. The radius is 8. And our units would be inches. Okay, Alicia is X years old, and her aunt is 3 times older than Alicia. In 5 years, Alicia's aunt will be 32. We need to find her aunt's current or present age, how old she is right now, not in 5 years. So our variable, X is going to be Alicia. And then since her aunt is 3 times older than Alicia, her aunt will be 3x. Now, since we only know that her aunt will be 32 and we're focusing on her aunt 5 years from now, our linear equation could be her aunt in 5 years will be 32 years old. So 3x plus 5 equals 32. Then we have to solve that equation to find out her aunt's age right now. Not hard to do. We're going to subtract 5 on both sides. And that leaves us with 3x is 27. Divide by 3, divide by 3, x is 9. Now going back to our variables that we defined, x is 9. That means Alicia is 9. And her aunt is 3 times that. So her aunt would be 9 times 3, which is 27. And that would make sense. If I do 27 plus 5, that would bring us to 32 years old. For number 11, a private swimming club charges $2.50 per swimmer for the first hour. After the first hour, swimmers have to pay an additional $1.50 for each hour thereafter. Georgina swam in the pool for X hours. Write an equation for the total charge Y dollars in terms of the number of hours X that Georgina swam in the pool. So let's define the variables first. X is going to be hours. And Y is going to be the dollars. Now we need to think what values we have here. It's going to be $2.50 for the first hour, and then $1.50 for each hour thereafter. So our equation will be $2.50 plus $1.50 for each hour thereafter. Now we don't know how many hours Georgina is going to swim, and each hour thereafter would give us the Y dollars. So if we subtract the 1, that would give us $1 off of the $2.50. So if we use this equation, we should be able to solve the problem. For part B, we're going to find the total charge if Georgina and her friend each swam in the pool for 2 hours. So if we solve this equation and substitute in 2 for x, we should get the price for one swimmer. So this will be $2.50. Okay, this here is going to be 1. So that's $2.50 plus $1.50 equals Y. So that means it cost $4 for Georgina to swim for 2 hours. But she does have her friend with her, so each of them would have to pay $4. So the total cost for both swimmers is $8. Okay, number 12 reads, in a nursery, one stalk of rose cost 1.5 times the price of one stalk of daisy. Janice bought 2 stalks of roses and 3 stalks of daisies. So I'm going to set that up. 2 stalks of roses would be 2 times 1.5 times the price of a daisy. So 2 stalks of roses and then 3 daisies. So and 3 daisies. Okay, so that's Janice. Brenda just bought 6 stalks of daisies. So let's put Brenda on the other side. So Brenda would just be 6 daisies. Both girls paid the same price or the same amount for the flowers. That's why I set them equal to each other. Now we're going to solve. So we're going to do 2 times 1.5, which simplifies to 3D, and then plus 3D, that's 6D. So we get 6D equals 6D. So then we look at that, and then we have to determine, is this consistent, inconsistent, or identity? And if these are identical, or a true statement, then we would call this identity. For number 13, it reads, Ling walks dogs for a summer job. She offers her clients 2 options for paying for the walks. Option A is to just pay a $10 flat fee. Option B is you pay $4 and then an additional $1 per mile. How many miles would the cost be the same with both options? So when we define our variable, we're looking for the number of miles where they would cost the same. So to write a linear equation for this, I would do option A. Option A is just $10. Option B is $4 plus $1 for every mile, and we're using x as our variable for miles. We want to know when these are going to be equal to each other. So this would be our two-step equation. So let's go ahead and solve it. So let's subtract 4 first on both sides. That gives us 6 equals 1x. Divide by 1, divide by 1, so x equals 6. So to answer the question, at how many miles would the cost be the same for both options? At 6 miles, the cost would be the same.